As I boarded the airplane from New York to London, there was a rush by everyone to get inside. Someone had hit me in the back. I stopped and allowed them to pass. As I settled into my seat, a window seat near the back of the plane, preparing for the uneventful 3-hour journey ahead. As the boarding process continued, a young man took the seat next to me. He wasn't very tall and had brown eyes. Our eyes met for a brief moment. I offered a polite smile, and he returned the gesture, but neither of us spoke a word. The flight attendants went through their pre-flight routine, and soon the plane took off, ascending into the vast blue sky. I settled into my book, but my thoughts kept drifting to the handsome male in my romance book. There was something about him that drew me in, an air of mystery and intrigue. As the flight progressed, the cabin lights dimmed, and most passengers fell into a peaceful slumber. I, too, felt the weariness of travel. With a little courage, he initiated the conversation. "So, are you traveling for business or pleasure?" he asked, blandly as I wavered in and out of sleep. He turned to me with a smile, and I responded. "A bit of both, actually. I'm visiting family in Los Angeles, but I also have some work meetings lined up." We spoke for a bit, exchanging stories of our lives, our passions, and our favorite places to travel. It felt like time slipped away. The flight felt like it was passing too quickly, and I found myself enjoying our conversation more, which was a bit strange because he wasn't my type. Soon, the plane hit a patch of turbulence, and I instinctively reached out to steady myself, my hand brushing against his. Our fingers interlocked, and I could feel my cheeks flush with a mixture of surprise and excitement. But neither of us let go. As the turbulence settled, we withdrew our hands, but a newfound connection lingered between us. It felt like we had known each other for years, not just a few hours. The walls we usually build around ourselves crumbled, and we allowed ourselves to be vulnerable and open. He shared stories of his childhood, his dreams, and his fears, and I poured my heart out to him as well. We laughed, we shared moments of silence, and it felt like we were two lost souls finding solace in each other's company. As the plane began its descent into Los Angeles, reality threatened to shatter the dreamlike bubble we had created during our flight. I felt a sense of sadness knowing that we would soon part ways, and our time together would become nothing more than a fleeting memory. But fate wasn't done with us just yet. As the plane taxied to the gate, he turned to me with a genuine smile that reached his eyes. "Would you like to grab a cup of coffee before we part ways?" he asked, and my heart leaped with joy. Without a second thought, I agreed, and we exchanged contact information. As we stepped off the plane and into the bustling airport, as we walked through the airport in the distance, I saw a lady with 2 kids waving a sign in our direction. It said, "Welcome home, Dad." He immediately pulled his hands away from mine and waved back. This man had a wife and 2 kids. I immediately walked away and went to catch a cab. Later that night, he messaged me explaining himself and asking to be friends. We continued talking for weeks until the connection we made became so deep. He asked for us to get that coffee we had spoken of on the plane, and I agreed. 9 a.m. at Starbucks, we agreed to meet. I got there early and sat and waited patiently. 10 minutes had passed, but I had seen him. So I ordered a black coffee and read a bit. Shortly after, a woman in shades and a hoodie stormed to sit at my table. It was his wife. She opened her phone and showed me a picture of myself in a bra I sent him. She said, "Ben does this a lot. You're the 5th one I had to deal with." She spoke loudly. "I'll say it once, stay away from my family or else," she shouted, storming out the door. Everyone was staring at me and began to murmur. I ran out quickly, almost falling as I went through the door. As I returned to my everyday life, I reminded myself of how the need for attention could have gotten me into trouble. And though it seemed we lived in the same city, I never saw Ben again, even though I was always on the lookout.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you